Hello and welcome to the News Blitz. This is where we get you the top stories of the day that are making headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to inaugurate the iconic footover bridge between Ellis Bridge and Sardar Bridge built near Sabarmati riverfront today. The 300-meter bridge will be connecting the east and west side of the Sabarmati riverfront. The bridge has been built by the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation and is named after the former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Dissented Ghulam Nabi Azad's resignation from all party position has landed as a blow on Congress's face. Azad wrote a scathing letter to interim party president Sonia Gandhi and rained fire on Rahul Gandhi, essentially blaming him for the party's demise. Azad in his letter claimed that all senior and experienced leaders were sidelined and a new coterie of inexperienced sycophants ran the party.
उनसे कोई देश में उम्मीद नहीं करता था कि आजाद साहब इस प्रकार का पत्र लिख देंगे। पहले सोनिया गांधी जी बीमार थी तो पत्र लिखा तो लोगों ने अन्यथा लिया कि जब हमारी नेता बीमार है, भर्ती है अस्पताल के अंदर, उस वक्त पत्र क्यों लिखा गया। और वो जब चेकअप में गई अमेरिका तो उस वक्त पत्र लिख के आप क्या संदेश देना।
Several senior Congress leaders such as Digvijay Singh and Jairam Ramesh launched a scathing attack at Azad and called him a traitor. Some of the Congress leaders like Sachin Pilot said that whatever Azad has mentioned in his letter is far from true.
आपको आपत्ति थी तो उसके बाद 2014 में आपने राज्यसभा में विपक्ष के नेता का पद क्यों स्वीकार किया, मंत्रिमंडल से इस्तीफा क्यों नहीं दिया। ये सब बहानेबाजी बंद करिए गुलाम नबी जी कि उन लोगों के साथ आपके संबंध जुट गए हैं जिन्होंने कश्मीर की धारा 370 समाप्त की।
आज जरूरत थी देश को और पार्टी को कि भाजपा के शासन के खिलाफ ठीक उन मुद्दों को उठाएं जिन मुद्दों को आजाद साहब उठाते थे सदन के अंदर, राज्यसभा के अंदर, महंगाई का, भ्रष्टाचार का, बेरोजगारी का। ये समय था संघर्ष का, सच्चाई को रखने का और भाजपा का सामना करने का। बजाय उसके आजाद साहब ने आज पार्टी छोड़ी है और मैं समझता हूं कहीं ना कहीं अपनी जिम्मेदारी से पीछे हटे हैं।
The division bench of Karnataka High Court has put the onus on Bombay government over the issue of permission for Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations at the Eid Maidan. This comes just a few days after the State Revenue Department claimed the ownership of the Eidgah Maidan, and this development led to a rise in calls by Hindu groups urging the government to allow the Ganesh Chaturthi event at the Eidgah Maidan.
Whatever the court has said, we don't want to comment on the court's verdict. But Karnataka government will show its sense to see that peace is maintained in Karnataka.
There was high drama in Patiala and Punjab over a delay in recruitments for the electricity department.
Hundreds sat on a dharna in front of the electricity department in Patiala. As the numbers and the commotion increased, police swooped in and lathi charged the protesters. The protesters alleged that the electricity department had promised jobs after 2 years of training. But suddenly a condition was introduced that they have to first pass an exam. The aspirants hit the streets to protest against the decision. Several protesters were grievously injured in the lathi charge.
After a liquor scam, the Delhi government is facing corruption charges in connection to the construction of classes in state-run schools. Delhi LGS sought a report from the Chief Secretary over the delay of 2.5 years on part of the Vigilance Department in acting on Central Vigilance Commission's inquiry report, pointing out gross irregularities and procedural lapses into the construction of additional classrooms in Delhi government schools.
तो स्कूलों के ऊपर घोटाला कर दिया मनीष सिसोदिया ने, उसकी भी जांच कर ली और जांच कर लें, सारी जांच कर लें जितनी तुम्हारी जांच एजेंसी है। सुबह से शाम तक सवेरे उठते आप ये सोचते हो अब मैं इसको महाराष्ट्र की सरकार गिराऊं, अब मैं गोवा की सरकार गिराऊं, अब मैं मध्य प्रदेश की सरकार गिराऊं, अब मैं दिल्ली की सरकार गिराऊं। काम कब करोगे, देश की तरक्की कब करोगे।
Mega twist in the Sonali Phogat murder case. The Goa police has revealed that Sonali was forcefully drugged before she died. In the CCTV footage, she can be seen dancing with a man, Sukhwinder Singh, while another footage shows Sonali unconscious, being carried away by a man who has been identified as Sudhir Sangwan. The Libyan National Army shot down what could be an American drone near Benghazi.
This video of a burning drone falling on the ground after being hit by a surface-to-air missile has gone viral. After looking at the crashed drone's wreckage, many experts believe it could be a US MQ-9 drone. The drone could be associated with the US Air Force, which frequently conducts its flights into Libya from Sigonella Air Station in Italy. The Libyan National Army has territorial control over eastern and southern Libya. Speculation is rife that NATO nations may have been monitoring LNA's operations in the region without permission from the Libyan government.
Supertech's illegal twin towers will cease to exist tomorrow. The buildings in Noida will be demolished on Sunday. The demolition will see 3,700 kilograms of explosives and 55,000 tons of debris. As for the demolition plan, the structures will fall in 9 seconds through a waterfall implosion to prevent damage to the surrounding societies.
All the arrangements, उनका यहाँ पे stay का, बैठने का, bedding का arrangements, all the food arrangements because they will come only morning, so breakfast से लेके और शाम तक evening snacks वगैरह, तो वो सारा arrangements यहाँ पर है. प्लस जो हमारे सोसाइटी में डॉक्टर्स हैं उनसे भी हम रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि वो लोग अवेलेबल हैं किसी तरह की किसी को मेडिकल हेल्प भी चाहिए हो, क्योंकि बाहर से शायद एरिया काफ़ी सील होगा तो बाहर से मेडिकल हेल्प आना भी थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा.
A 31-year-old man has been arrested for kidnapping 2 kids from West Delhi's Mayapuri area. The children were kidnapped while they were playing around 2:30 p.m. by the car cleaner. The children were found after several CCTV footage was scanned. Both children have been handed back to their parents. Several parts of Rajasthan are underwater due to heavy rains, and Udaipur is one of the worst hit places.
This house could not withstand the fast-flowing flood waters. It was literally floating in the flood waters like a boat. Due to incessant rains, many rivers in Rajasthan are in spate. The river water has flown into towns and left them completely inundated. Several people have been trapped in their homes as a result of the floods. With roads turning into rivers, relief and rescue teams went out in boats to evacuate people.
Cloudbursts of torrential rains have caused widespread destruction in Uttarakhand. Take a look.
A cloudburst near Rudraprayag resulted in flash floods. Muddy water flooded this village, uprooting trees and washing away homes. And with no let-up in the rains, there was no relief in sight. In Tehri too, flash floods wreaked havoc. Hundreds were marooned because there was water for as long as the eye can see. Landslides on the Gangotri highway triggered panic. Chunks of a mountain fell on the highway, causing a traffic jam for hours. Machines had to be brought in to clear the roads and restart the vehicular movement.
The Indian Air Force has been roped in to evacuate people in flood-hit Madhya Pradesh.
Vidisha is one of the worst affected places in Madhya Pradesh. Roads have turned into rivers and water has entered people's homes. Power supply has been cut off and locals are struggling to get their hands on essential items.
Incessant rain for the last 36 hours. This havoc has been brought up by rains in Vidisha district for last 36 hours. And in fact, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister, he has reviewed the situation in Vidisha.
The Indian Air Force will deploy 2 medium-lift helicopters for disaster relief operations in Vidisha. Incessant rains for the last 2 days have triggered floods in several parts of the state. To make matters worse, the IMD has sounded a heavy rainfall alert in many districts. In the last 24 hours, the State Disaster Emergency Response Force and the NDRF together have rescued over 400 people.
Landslides due to heavy rains have left a trail of death and destruction in Himachal Pradesh.
It looks like business as usual at this petrol pump in Shimla. But suddenly, a giant rock breaks away from the mountain, comes hurtling down and lands on cars parked at the petrol pump.
It happened so quickly that people didn't even have time to get away. At least one person was badly injured and 3 cars were completely destroyed. In Chamba district, a 3-story building was destroyed due to a landslide and the debris that came along with it. In Mandi, traffic came to a standstill after debris from a landslide fell on the road.
सबसे बुरे हालात यहाँ पर मंडी के हैं, जैसे कि आपको पता है कि अकेले मंडी में 13 लोगों की जान गई है.
The administration in Himachal Pradesh is on high alert after several landslides have been reported due to incessant rains.